Crypto Kids, I have found something on Bitcoin that nobody has spoken about before on YouTube. It is a mind-blowing signal, I can promise you. Watch until the very end of this video and you will not regret it. In this channel, we've spoken about the bull and bear market support band, but we never spoke about its relationship with the 200-day moving average. We have also stated that Bitcoin is following the midterm year because it's following the 4-year cycles with almost complete accuracy. Every single cycle, you had a Q4 post-halving year top. Every single cycle, it took 1,065 days to reach from lowest point to highest point 3 times in a row consecutively. And what we didn't mention on this post was that the high to then low was 364 days exactly. So this is the proof of the existence of the 4-year cycle. And when you take a look at the years of 2018, 2022, Bitcoin is in the same trend, it's in the same path to go lower and find the low in Q4. This can get invalidated, but until it is invalidated, there's no point to assume otherwise. That's at least my personal view. So going back into the 200-day moving average and the bull and bear market support band, I want to highlight 2 very critical instances where Bitcoin got rejected from the 200-day moving average and fell lower. It was close to where Bitcoin is today from a time horizon, March 2022. March 2022, Bitcoin sees a retest to the 200 daily moving average and gets a correction of maximum 68% to the downside. But more importantly, take a look at what happens with a combination of the 200 daily moving average and the bull and bear market support band in the year of 2018, exactly where we are in terms of the 4-year cycle timing. Bitcoin has a peak at $20,000 in 2018. Following this peak, you get a massive drawdown of 69% in 2 months, and the low is created, the swing low is created in February of the following year. Sorry, the top is in 2017, and then you create the low in February 2018. After this low, Bitcoin rallies and it develops a higher low. This higher low goes on and takes Bitcoin to the bull and bear market support bands, which turns into resistance. At the same time, you're testing the 200-day moving average, and both of those resistances combined makes you drop and sweep the lows that you created in February. So you sweep the lows created in February, you drift around, and in Q4 midterm year, 364 days after the top, you go and generate your lowest point in the bear market. Look at what we're doing today in 2026. Bitcoin dropped from peak to low 52%, not 69%, but that aligns with the law of diminishing returns in every cycle. Bitcoin sees that 52% drop when it sees it in February of the midterm year. Then Bitcoin creates a higher low, which rallies you into the bull and bear market resistance band and the 200-day moving average simultaneously, and we're facing resistance. And it's not just the resistance from these 2 indicators that we're facing resistance from. There is also the VWAP, the volume-based trend resistance at the blue line, which is required to be flipped to say, okay, the volumes at least is pivoting from a downtrend into an uptrend. You're finding resistance from the bear flag, and you're finding resistance, well, you're developing a pattern in the 4-hourly time frame that is shaping up to become something like a double top that is not confirmed yet. It would only get confirmed if we breach the neckline. Important justification and disclaimer. All I'm trying to say is trading is based off of a game of probabilities. And in all of the realms of probabilities we have, it looks as though that Bitcoin is a higher probability of dropping than going up in the short term. Could this scenario be wrong and we do something completely different? It's possible. But for that to be invalidated, Bitcoin needs to go above 83.3, which is the bear flag and volume-based point to break for invalidation. With volume, which Bitcoin currently doesn't have, volume is super important. It substantiates breakouts, and it shows that investors, not just speculative derivatives traders, but investors are piling into the asset to accumulate it. So if you have 2 daily confirmations above, currently 83.4, but it can take longer for Bitcoin to get above if we, the price can go higher if Bitcoin trades in a consolidation for longer. So you need volume and 2 days of price being above those resistances for me to skew my bias from bearish to bullish in the short term. That would invalidate things until we can reach the 95s, the 97s, which if we do break above, I think there's a good chance that we do it. For me to flip fully bullish, to expect new all-time highs, I would have to see Bitcoin create a higher high and flip the price-based bearish trend into a bullish trend. Then we can say, okay, all-time highs are imminent. That is the Bitcoin analysis which I wanted to share with you. And please, I see so many comments misunderstanding me. Bitcoin in the long term, I think is going to go to millions of dollars, okay? Millions of dollars, I think it's going to go to, because the financial system that we operate in today is completely corrupt. Bitcoin will prevail and all currencies will devalue to zero and drop 99.99% against Bitcoin in the long term. This is my pure belief. It's my pure belief. You're seeing hyperinflation in Argentina and Venezuela and Turkey and so many countries across the world. When that hyperinflation hits the largest economy, the United States, that's when the whole system goes bust and people will be seeking to find an alternative. Is that alternative silver? Is it gold? Okay, yes, they're hard forms of money, but can you transact with gold and silver in the digital economy that we live in today? No, but you can with Bitcoin, and it's unconfiscatable and it's safe. So I see Bitcoin becoming a $100 trillion asset. That's currently a $1.5 trillion asset. As an investor, I have no problem in buying Bitcoin at 81. It's just the leverage trading that puts a little bit of concern. Then look at the fundamentals. We have this hantavirus that we spoke about in the previous video. There's a new hantavirus case confirmed by the health department in the United States. Geopolitically, Iran had proposed to the US a document to end the war. President Trump said that he has read this response from Iran and called it totally unacceptable. And it looks like geopolitical tensions, once again, are very sadly escalating. And it really doesn't look good. The S&P opened lower. The price of Bitcoin fell lower. President Trump and President Netanyahu will be speaking tonight, so more developments should emerge in the later hours of this evening. But it doesn't look like the war is over just yet, meaning crude oil prices are going to be higher for longer, meaning inflation, which will be released tomorrow, is probably going to come in at that 3.7% level markets are expecting it to come out at. Fed Chair Powell stated that inflation will likely go up for longer. Why? Due to the uncertainty with the geopolitical environment. So if inflation is increasing, and you're seeing crude oil remain at $100, potentially even go higher, that's going to fuel further inflation more. This is the monetary policy that we live in today, guys. It's restrictive. The labor market not doing so well. Labor market is not doing so well at all. I know the Trump administration posted the following, saying the Trump effect, US adds 115,000 jobs. But no, you lost the full-time jobs. The full-time jobs is what matters. And the increase is coming from the part-time jobs. So the labor market is struggling, inflation is struggling, monetary policy is where it is at today. You're facing the resistances from technical analysis. You have the geopolitical tensions. You have the uncertainty regarding a new potential, God forbid, pandemic. So how can you expect now for Bitcoin to go to new all-time highs? Could I be wrong? I could be wrong, guys and girls. And if I'm wrong, I will admit it. No problem in that. I view trading as a matter of probability, and that spectrum of probability is dependent on factors that we can analyze. And the factors that I'm analyzing show bearishness in the short term compared to bullishness in the short term. That's it. But the end goal doesn't change. The end goal for me is that Bitcoin goes to millions of dollars. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all very soon. Tomorrow, when the CPI data comes out, I'll be recording a new video. I'll be streaming it. Expect volatility. Thank you, and as always, bye-bye.